Good evening, this is Brass Tacks. I'm Zaka Jacob. For the second day running, Parliament was held up because ruling party members demanded an apology from Rahul Gandhi for the comments that he made while he was abroad last week. The Congress says this is just a diversionary tactic from the Adani scam for which the government is reluctant to constitute a JPC. 2 days of the budget session have been wiped out so far and it is likely to be the same throughout the remainder of this session. The question is, why is taxpayer money being pushed down the drain in the name of Parliament? Because neither opposition nor government wants the House to run. What will it take to make both houses work? That's going to be the debate tonight. But first, the story.
For the second straight day, Parliament descended into chaos. There were repeated adjournments as BJP and Congress MPs locked horns over Rahul Gandhi's recent remarks against the Modi government in London last week. The BJP said Parliament can't sit and watch as a member goes abroad and talks against Indian democracy.
अपने पार्लियामेंट के बारे में ऐसे उल्टे सीधे बयान करे, इस बात की निंदा भी करनी पड़ेगी और उन्होंने यहाँ पे आके माफी मांगनी पड़ेगी। मैं गर्व के साथ कह सकता हूँ।
Speaking to CNN News 18, Union Minister Anurag Thakur accused Rahul Gandhi of defaming India.
He has left no stone unturned to tarnish the image of the Parliament and the country. He should come back and apologize to the Parliament and to the parliamentarians.
That Rahul Gandhi has called for.
Congress trashed BJP's allegations and called it diversionary tactics.
I don't believe that Rahul Gandhi has said anything that requires an apology. It is much, much milder than what Pradhan Mantri Narendra Modi has said. This kind of discourse abroad was initiated by Prime Minister Modi.
सरकार खुद नहीं चलाना चाहते हैं हाउस। कल ऐसा नजारा कभी देखा है कि सरकार के मंत्रीगण, सरकार के सारे एमपीगण सब मतलब सदन को ठप करने के लिए किस तरीके से हंगामा किए हैं। क्यों माफी मांगेंगे? राहुल जी क्या किया गुना की माफी मांगना है? माफी इन लोगों को मांगना चाहिए।
Rahul Gandhi is being targeted for claiming that India's institutions are under attack and a large chunk of democracy has come undone in India. As the war of words intensifies, who's trying to hijack Parliament?
Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi's close aide and former advisor to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, Sam Pitroda, put out a series of tweets in defense of Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Pitroda urged people to stop promoting and propagating lies about what Rahul Gandhi said and intentionally misunderstanding what he said. Pitroda also claimed that Rahul Gandhi never really invited any foreign country to help or intervene in India's internal affairs. He said that Rahul Gandhi had only flagged off the state of democracy in India, which is a matter of concern, but that it is an Indian problem, so we will have to deal with it. Now, here are the series of statements that Rahul Gandhi made in London last week.
Indian democracy is under pressure, is under attack. The institutional framework, which is required for a democracy, parliament, a free press, the judiciary, just the idea of mobilization, just the idea of moving around, these are all getting constrained.
Indian democracy is a public good. So the surprising thing is that the so-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious.
I have never defamed my country. I'm not interested in it. I will never do it. The fact of the matter is the person who defames India when he goes abroad is the Prime Minister of India.
Now, the BJP is also citing a 2021 interview that Rahul Gandhi had given to former US diplomat Nicholas Burns, where he reportedly questioned the silence of the US establishment for what is happening in India. Now, in this particular interview, Rahul Gandhi claimed that there had been a wholesale capture of institutions in India. He went on to say that he hasn't heard anything from the US establishment on what is going on in India. He also pointed out, saying that the US and India is a partnership of democracies. So what is America's view on what is going on in India? He also said that freedom has been encapsulated in the American Constitution, which makes the country a profound idea. He went on to say that America has to defend that idea of freedom. So let me open this up to our panelists. It's not just about what Rahul Gandhi said and whether or not he should apologize, but also about what it will take to run Parliament. Professor Rakesh Sinha, BJP MP, is now joining us. Dr. Shama Mohammed, Congress spokesperson. Abhijit Majumdar is consulting editor with First Post, and Javed Ansari, senior journalist. Professor Rakesh Sinha, let me start with you first. In both houses of parliament for the last 2 days, ruling party MPs have been protesting and asking for Rahul Gandhi to apologise. Should that be at the cost of running parliament?
You know, this is not a normal situation. When a leader of a party which has ruled this country more than 5 decades and has a history of more than 100 years and has a worldwide signboard is known worldwide, he goes to the foreign soil, says something which is not against an individual, which is not against the particular organization. It gives the bad image and it contests the very idea of India. Then it is very abnormal situation in the country that too a leader of opposition party. That's why we are demanding apology. The apology is not from the individual only. Apology is from the organization plus it's ideologues. Let the people of the world know that this was a mistake on his part. It is not only immaturity. Rahul Gandhi, whatever Rahul Gandhi does, he is doing deliberately against the country, against the nation. I consider when you are undermining the India democracy, he was speaking at a time when in Nagaland 13 lakh voters, in Meghalaya 21 lakh voters, in Tripura or 28 lakhs voters were participating in the free and fair election and electing their government. The erosion of the Congress is not the erosion of democracy. And that's why I consider that Rahul's statement is a war against the Indian people.
So let me ask Dr. Shama Mohammed, let me ask Dr. Shama Mohammed that if Rahul Gandhi says democracy is being stifled in India, the institutional framework is being killed in India, at the same time that he made those comments, Dr. Shama Mohammed, tens of thousands of people, lakhs of people turned up in states like Tripura, Meghalaya, Nagaland, to vote and elect a new government, and so they did. So how are you saying that democracy is under attack?
No, Rahul Gandhi clearly said there that this is our problem and we can only solve this problem. And basically what he meant is subversion of democracy. Now I'm going to play something to you. Listen to this. Can you hear this?
No, we can't hear it.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm trying to say is that after 2014, 2016, 2017, what did Narendra Modi say? छोड़ो यार, पाप किया है यहाँ जन्म होने से पहले, 2014 से पहले. What is the sin you have committed to be born in India before 2014? This is to audience in South Korea, in China. He says, people were so ashamed to be born in India that they were leaving the country. So Narendra Modi goes out and insults not just Indians living then, but also our forefathers. When you're ashamed, it's a sin. It is insulting Vallabhbhai Patel. It is insulting Pandit Nehru. It is insulting Mahatma Gandhi. It is insulting Mukherjee. It is insulting Adani, Vajpayee, everybody. So the rule is Narendra Modi can say whatever he wants, but others cannot say. Number one, just give me some time. Number two, in 2017, let me finish, please, Zaka. In 2017, he accused 3 important people. Manmohan Singh, a former Prime Minister. Hamid Ansari, former Vice President. And General Kapoor, former Army General, of colluding with Pakistan to overthrow the government in Gujarat. Now, he is accusing them of treason. Did he apologize to them ever, whether in Parliament or outside Parliament? I want an apology because these were just not anybody. The former Prime Minister, the former
Shama,
Army
there
General.
are two issues here. Once again, as I understand, there are 2 issues here. One second. Let it not be a monologue. Let it not be a monologue. There are 2 separate issues here. One is the BJP is taking exception to the fact that Rahul Gandhi, they claim, on foreign soil, insulted the country. That's one part of it. The second part of it is what he said and the merits or demerits of what he said. So let me ask Abhijit Majumdar this. Is there merit in what Rahul Gandhi said that democracy in India... No, one second. You can't take forever to finish your points, right? I need to go to other guests as well. The idea that democracy is finished in India, is that a contestable idea? Because as I understand, in the 28, 30 states that we have in our country, I think about 15, 16 the BJP is ruling. The remaining 13, 14, there are opposition parties that are ruling. There have been multiple assembly elections in the last 8 years since Mr. Modi came to power. Admittedly, yes, the BJP is winning a majority of them. But there have been states where regional parties, and Congress has also won. Congress won an election just back in in December, when they won Himachal Pradesh. So to say that democracy is failing or failed in India, that would be a stretch.
Yeah, so, just 2 months back, democracy was alive and kicking in Himachal. Suddenly, every time the Congress, a little more unelectable, democracy dies a little more. This doesn't hold water. It really. But having said that, Zaka, opposition leader of a country is fine in when he or she visits abroad to point out things that are probably not working fine in the country, etc., etc. But this sweeping comments like democracy is dead and dying, these are alarmist. But the bigger problem is that Rahul Gandhi, Shama may disagree, but if he clearly is exhorting the Western powers, UK, US, that do something about it. What would you do? These are his words. What would you do if democracy is the size of Europe? Suddenly, democracy vanishes from Europe.
No, but the Congress is saying that he never said any such thing. The Congress is saying that it was not some plea for intervention.
No,
it was just that the so-called defenders of free speech, US, Europe, etc., they're not saying anything about what's happening in India.
No, and also this is not the first time that, Rahul Gandhi, I personally think that it was a very clear call for action for others in the world to do something about this thing, because we can't win elections. Most of the elections we are losing. So please come and do something about it. I have to be in power. That kind of to me, that is clear.
Okay, so let me ask Javed Ansari.
Shankar Iyer went to Pakistan and actually asked Pakistan, "Aap kuch kijiye." He is pleading with Pakistan to remove Modi.
So let me ask Javed Ansari that the government's argument is, you look at what has been happening, over the last few months, whether it was this Hindenburg report. Now, for whatever it's worth, the government is calling it a hit job. Then you had Mr. Soros and his comments. And then you had Rahul Gandhi, they claim, impleading to the Americans and to the Europeans to do something about it, to say something about what's going on in India. Now, my question is, seen in this context, seen as a sequence of events, does the government have a point in that they fear that Rahul Gandhi was asking for some kind of foreign intervention? And more importantly, the point that Abhijit made, the Congress not winning elections or losing elections with every passing year cannot become a substitute for asking some kind of foreign intervention.
Well, I certainly, much as I respect Abhijit, he's a dear friend, I certainly do not agree with his interpretation of what Rahul Gandhi was saying. Just as I am entitled to a view, he's entitled to his view. I believe that the BJP and its cheerleaders are stretching it a bit. And if by that, and if that is to be a principle is to be applied, then what the Prime Minister said, and that too of all places in China, that log sharminda the Hindustani hone pe, and they were leading the country. What do you make of that? As far as democracy not existing in India, well, that's not a statement. That's not a correct statement. Democracy is certainly, there is certainly democracy, but it's certainly under stress. When a comedian is jailed for a joke he didn't crack, when a journalist is jailed and has to spend over a year in jail for a story that he didn't write, when verdicts are manufactured and turned on their head, then democracy is certainly under stress.
No, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating, Javed Ansari, and that
yes,
ultimately...
elections are being held.
Yeah, so for whatever it's worth, elections are the ultimate marker in an electoral democracy. And the fact is that in elections, the Congress party is just not able to win elections.
Yes, I agree with you that elections are an important marker, but not the only marker. Okay. And attempts are being made in states where verdict goes against the ruling party in power at the center. to change that kind of verdict by means that were not entirely democratic. And why is it that only leaders belonging to opposition parties bear the brunt of official probes? Why is it? Is there an answer?
So that's a fair question to ask Professor Rakesh Sinha. You look at this is a constant charge from the opposition. You look at all the leaders who've been raided or cases, whether it is ED, IT, CBI, all of them are going after opposition leaders. We had recently the case of Manish Sisodia. K. Kavita of the BRS has been called in for questioning. Somehow there is no BJP leader who's ever raided or questioned by these agencies, is always against the opposition. Surely that can't be democratic.
You know, it is not a privilege to be opposition and to be corrupt. Because you are a opposition party and you are indulged in corruption, you have made a hefty money and you have misused the legitimate opportunity for the illegitimate activities. Because you belong to opposition party, so CBI and ED should not act. This privilege opposition parties want. And balancing act cannot be the rule in the field of corruption. Suppose two MPs are arrested from a particular party, so other parties, one MP should be arrested without any reason. You bring any charge against substantive charge against any individual, and you go to the CBI, ED, complain that, and there will be a raid. That person would be arrested.
No, but Professor Sinha,
tell
again,
me
opposition.
The one single case.
Opposition is asking. When Hemanta Biswa Sarma was in the opposition, there were cases against him. When Suvendu Adhikari was in the opposition, there were cases against him. Somehow, when they joined the BJP, it's like going through a washing machine. All the dirty laundry has been washed.
No, there were no there had not been any substantive charge. They were the kind of allegation and counter allegations.
Okay.
Here, a question of substantive charge. In Bengal, you found that crores of rupees were lying in the room. In Jharkhand, you find, and in Delhi, the ghotala, everybody knows. What I am telling about Rahul Gandhi, that is very important. Rahul Gandhi in May 2002, this is not an exceptional case. In May 2022, he met the Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn. He is a Labour Party MP who believes in secession of Kashmir. He is opposed to Kashmir's accession in India. He is opposed to the Kashmir. He does not consider Kashmir as an integral part of the country. He once told a foreign ambassador that Hindutva is more dangerous than the Lashkar-e-Toiba. The man who is doing such thing, and he went China has a.
Okay, let me ask Dr. Shama Mohammed. No, once again, Dr. Shama Mohammed, I'll give you time. All I'm asking is, you are ostensibly again protesting in Parliament. Once again, can you hear my question, please? Please hear my question, and I'd appreciate an answer to my question. You are ostensibly protesting against the government not constituting a JPC on the Adani matter. But the matter has been inquired into by no less than the Supreme Court of India. If the Supreme Court of India is looking into it, and it's given, I think, 8 weeks' time to a committee to look into what exactly happened, do you not have faith in the highest court of the land? Should Parliament still be held hostage that JPC can do a better job than Supreme Court?
No, it's a committee. There is a difference here. Now, first, before I come into that, I wanted to ask Mr. Majumdar a question. He was going on talking about Rahul Gandhi, and let me reassert, Rahul Gandhi did not say that. He said this is an internal matter, and we need to solve it. Now, Mr. Majumdar, are you ashamed to be born before 2014? You must tell the audience today. Because Mr. Modi has said that those who all born before 2014 were ashamed to be Indians. And many people also, he said, many people left India. Do you know, according to the government, more than 9 lakh people have left the Indian citizenship since 2014. And the highest was in 2021, 2 lakhs. So people are giving up Indian citizenship. Why? So when Mr. Modi can say whatever he wants once more, and the other thing, if you notice the pattern, when Rahul Gandhi questioned them on demonetization, he had to apologize. When he questioned them on the Rafale deal, he had to apologize. Now, because he is the only one who started on the Adani issue long before the Hindenburg report came in, he has to apologize. So this is definitely a divert and distraction tactic for sure, because there is no other reason that they want this done. Why? Zaka, simple question to Mr. Sinha said, you know, we go after everybody. Recently, your MLA was caught with crores in Bangalore, and you've given him bail. He's out on bail right now. There are many others The ED has put behind many opposition leaders are behind bars. ED will question first, the CBI will take them into custody, then the ED will come in and they will arrest.
Okay.
And then the judicial custody goes
Abhijit,
on. So my question,
respond.
no.
So you've asked Abhijit the question. Let him respond.
Yeah, I want Mr. Abhijit to respond about and why doesn't the Prime Minister apologize?
He is responding to you. If you will show him the courtesy to listen.
Right at the beginning, I said that it's fine for a opposition leader to go abroad and discuss certain sort of drawbacks of governance in the country and all that, but not okay to call for action from other powers. That in my opinion, and I disagree with Shama.
No, he has not called for any action. I'm sorry. You can't keep repeating.
One second, please. Shama, he heard you. Please extend him the courtesy. Fair enough. You are saying that he didn't say that. He's saying that he said that. Let's leave it to the viewers to decide. Okay.
The other thing is, it's not true that BJP leaders have not been raided by the central agencies. There is PVS Sharma from, I think, Rajasthan. There is, Senga's cases there, Gali Janardhan Reddy, Dushyant Singh. There's a fair, at least 6 I can see here. So it is not entirely true that, only the opposition leaders have been raided. But the larger point, Zaka, is that, through his actions, to the kind of, and I agree with Rakesh ji that, you go and meet and, do photo ops with Corbyn, who does not even, without even a word on Kashmir. At least if you're fine, you're the leader of opposition, you're meeting people like Corbyn. You may even meet Ilhan Omar. But without a rider that, hello, I don't agree with your stance on Kashmir. I condemn it. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं हुआ.
Okay.
This did not happen. What Congress is essentially and effectively doing by association and by action and by comments.
See, Zaka, you're not giving me time.
One second.
You're giving others time.
It's further ceding the nationalistic space to BJP.
Okay, Javed, I'll give Javed the final word. It's not. I mean, again, what the government is saying, what the BJP is saying. Ma'am, I've given you more than enough time. Let Javed get the final word. That what they're saying is Rahul Gandhi has done this in the past as well. The Corbyn incident is one that both Rakesh Sinha and Abhijit Majumdar referred to. He spoke in London in 2018 saying that people are being discriminated against, the marginalized are being betrayed. Again in London in 2018, he said, for the first time, an organization is challenging the very concept of India. This time, he compared the RSS to the Muslim Brotherhood. Modi government, he's called it exclusionary, using anger and violence to win elections. The RSS is fiddling with the foundational structure of India. The problem is, he's saying all of this in distant lands, in faraway lands, and in this case, on the land of a former colonial power, giving the impression that forget about asking for intervention or asking for some kind of, the US or Europe should talk about what's going on in India. But it's almost like he's leaning on their crutches. And that's a problem. Now, it's all very well, for Mr. Gandhi to say what he said, and then Congress leaders like Sharma, of course, clarify saying he's never asked for intervention. But the damage has already been done.
Look, Zaka, the Congress has today put out a video of Mr. Rahul Gandhi's speech where he referred to EU and the US. So it's there for all to see. I mean, if you ask me as a matter of principle, there was a lot of wisdom in the convention that leaders earlier used to follow of not discussing domestic affairs while outside the country. There was a lot of wisdom in it, and our leaders, those in government and outside, would be well advised to follow that. Because washing dirty linen in public doesn't do anybody good. But to impute motives, I mean, if it's not good for Rahul Gandhi, then it can't be good for Narendra Modi as well. That too, and this business of EU and US is a matter of interpretation. I certainly don't agree with my two learned friends here.
Okay.
People should.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I've got to wrap up because we've got 3 segments on tonight's show. So I want to thank Shama Mohammed, Professor Sinha, Abhijit Majumdar, and of course Javed Ansari for joining us. We'll see how this story plays out. But one thing, and I think this is the most